Hi everyone, it's Maya, and in this video, I'll be diving into the different budgeting methods you can use to get your finances right this year. No matter where you're at in your personal finance journey, everyone needs a budget, and finding the method that works for you is an important step towards achieving your financial goals. There are a ton of methods out there, and if you're feeling overwhelmed or unsure where to get started, or if you've been budgeting for a while and haven't quite found the method that works for you, then you're in the right place. When it comes to budgeting, there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. And that's why it's great to have a range of strategies to choose from. In this video, I'm going to dive into 7 different budgeting strategies. I'll explain how each one works, go over their pros and cons, and help you determine the budgeting method that's right for you. Let's dive in. The first method we're going to look at is the 50-30-20 budgeting method. The 50-30-20 method says to divvy up your after-tax income across 3 categories. First, you should allocate 50% of your income towards your needs. These are things like your housing expenses, your utilities, groceries, transportation, as well as the minimum payments due on all of your debt. Then 30% of your income should be allocated towards your wants. These are things like dining out, entertainment, vacations, and whatever else you like to spend your money on. And finally, 20% of your income should go towards your financial goals, like debt payments above minimums, saving for your emergency fund, short-term savings goals and sinking funds, and of course, your investments. The obvious pro of this method is that it's straightforward and super easy to implement. However, like any budgeting strategy, there are cons to the 50-30-20 rule. Firstly, it might not be realistic for everyone. For example, those of us earning a low income or living in expensive cities may need more than 50% of our income to cover our needs. Secondly, it can promote a phenomenon known as lifestyle inflation. As you make more money, the rule doesn't take into consideration whether you really need or want to spend that money, and it can encourage wasteful spending. And thirdly, it doesn't take into consideration your financial goals. Depending on what your goals are, you may need to save more than 20% of your income to reach them within your desired time frame. This method also doesn't provide any guidance on how to allocate your money between saving and investing goals. Overall, I'd say that the 50-30-20 method can be a helpful starting point if you're looking for a simple and flexible budgeting solution, and if your expenses are steady from month to month. However, given its limitations, the percentages may require some modifications based on your individual circumstances. I wouldn't recommend the 50-30-20 rule if you're someone that has a low income, needs a little bit more structure, needs help controlling impulse spending, or if you really want to prioritize your financial goals. There are many percentage-based budgeting strategies. Up next, we'll cover one more of these, which is the 70-20-10 rule. Like the 50-30-20 method, the 70-20-10 budget also says to divvy up your after-tax income across 3 categories. But this time, you'll be allocating 70% of your income towards all your living expenses, so that's all your needs and wants during the month. 20% of your income will go towards your saving and debt payments above minimums. And finally, 10% will go towards donations. Now, I say donations because technically the beneficiary of those donations can be you. This money can go towards your retirement accounts like your 401k, or your Roth IRA. You can also donate a part to charitable organizations that are important to you. The one thing that I do like about the 70-20-10 rule versus the 50-30-20 method is that it splits out investing into its own spending category to give it focus. Besides this point though, I do consider the pros and cons of both of these methods to be pretty similar. And so again, if you use this method, make sure you review your lifestyle and financial goals and customize the percentages to suit your unique circumstances. While percentage-based budgeting methods are simple and easy to implement, in my experience, they're not the most effective. Especially when you're just starting out, I believe it's important to take a more personalized and hands-on approach to your budget. This way, you can really see where your money's going and make more intentional and informed money decisions. In the end, you're only going to get out what you put into the process. And a clearer reflection of your finances will help you achieve better financial outcomes in the long run. One such hands-on approach is the zero-based budgeting strategy. But before we move on, if you're liking this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. I'll wait. With zero-based budgeting, your goal is to make your income minus your expenses equal 0. Your expenses will include your needs, wants, savings, debt payments, investments, or any other category you can think of. In other words, you give every dollar you earn a job. The biggest benefit of the zero-based budgeting method is that it's personalized to you and gives you a lot more control and awareness over your spending habits. This is particularly helpful since research shows we consistently underestimate how much we actually spend. The zero-based budgeting method could suit you if you want more control over your finances, you want to be more intentional with your spending, or if you really want to prioritize your financial goals. Zero-based budgeting can, of course, be a little bit time-consuming to set up and maintain, but if you're committed to financial stability and security, you'll have to put in the work, but trust me, it will be well worth it. Next up, we have bare bones budgeting. Bare bones budgeting is just like zero-based budgeting, but you only allocate your money to, well, the bare bones. With a bare bones budget, you cover only the expenses that are absolutely essential. Whatever is left over, you use to pay off debt or you save. Because it focuses only on the most critical expenses, the bare bones budget can be especially helpful during times of financial uncertainty or when you're doubling down to reach your financial goals. Bare bones budgeting could suit individuals who are trying to make ends meet on a low income or under financial uncertainty, those who are looking to aggressively pay down debt, or those who want to bulk up their savings in a short period. Something to keep in mind is that because of its highly restrictive nature, this method can lead to budget burnout. Like a crash diet, this method can leave you feeling extremely deprived and dissatisfied, which could cause you to abandon your budget altogether. While this strategy could serve a short-term purpose, in my opinion, it's not a healthy and sustainable long-term budgeting solution. Next up, we have cash envelope budgeting. Cash envelope budgeting is similar to zero-based budgeting, except you'll be using physical cash. Once you've determined how much money you'll allocate to each spending category, you'll put that amount into an envelope designated for that spending category. The idea is, once you've used up the cash in an envelope, you can't spend any more money on that category until you replenish the envelope in the next month. This can be especially helpful for those looking to curb overspending. An issue with this method is that it's obviously risky carrying your money around in envelopes, and I've experienced this firsthand. This is an image of me enjoying my churros in Spain moments before my handbag containing $200 in cash was stolen. Not only can it be really easy to lose your budgeted money, it's also super inconvenient. Not all payments like bills can be made in cash, so you'll have to manage these separately, and you'll also miss out on benefits you can get with transacting on a credit card, like cashback and points, which are all drawbacks to consider. That said, if this does sound like something that could work for you, you do you. In this case, I recommend considering digitizing your envelopes. Many online banks offer this feature to help you accomplish a similar outcome. Next up is a budgeting method you hear a lot about these days, especially on TikTok, and that's the pay yourself first method. The pay yourself first method, also known as the reverse budgeting method, prioritizes saving and investing a portion of your income before paying your bills and expenses. The idea behind paying yourself first is pretty simple. You set yourself realistic savings and investing goals, and then when you get paid, you immediately pay yourself first by transferring the allotted amounts to your savings and investing accounts. This way, the money is out of sight and out of mind, and you're not tempted to spend it. Then you can use what's left in your checking account to pay your debt, bills, and cover your remaining expenses. The biggest pro of this strategy is that it ensures you're always making progress towards your financial goals. But you have to be careful. If your saving or your investing goals aren't realistic, you may find yourself with insufficient funds to cover your monthly expenses. Paying yourself first is best suited to those who already have a good handle on their income and expenses and have realistic savings and investing goals already set. For this reason, it can be helpful to use this in combination with other strategies like zero-based budgeting. And finally, we have a values-based budgeting. Values-based budgeting, also known as conscious spending plans, involve aligning your personal spending to your values and priorities. Think of it as a roadmap of how you want to spend your money, and it being something designed to help you live your life more mindfully and intentionally. Much of being good with money is about your mindset, and values-based budgeting can help shift your mindset from "my budget is controlling me" to "I'm controlling my budget." In fact, if budgets were diets, a regular budget would say something like, hey, you can't eat that. On the other hand, a values-based budget would say something like, I choose not to eat that, and I want to eat this instead. Approaching budgeting with this positive and empowering mindset makes it easier to stick to your budget and spend your money guilt-free. Values-based budgeting pairs perfectly with zero-based budgeting. The process involves reflecting on your current spending and consciously deciding to allocate resources away from the things that aren't important to you towards the things that are. This is something I recommend everyone to do, irrespective of the budgeting method you choose. As you can see, there are many different budgeting methods out there, and we've only covered a few of them in this video. Hopefully this video has given you an idea of which methods you may want to try out. Whatever method you choose, know that it's normal not to get it right the first time. It can take a number of attempts before you fall into a bit of a rhythm with your budget. And if the method you choose doesn't work out, don't sweat it. Very few people will stick to the same budgeting method for life. Some people may try a few methods before they find one they like. Some might combine elements of all of these methods to personalize a meticulous budget and then switch to a more flexible method in the long term. There's really no right or wrong answer. Through a little trial and error, you will find something that works best for you. Personally, I've found that the zero and values-based methods work really well for me. And now that I've gotten a handle on my income and expenses and have really clear and realistic financial goals, I also make sure to pay myself first. If you're interested to see how I set up my personal budget, let me know in the comments. Before I go, I'm new here on YouTube, so let me know if you like this video, and if you did, please give me a like and consider subscribing to my channel. Also, if you have any feedback on how I can do better, please send your thoughts my way. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.